Right, we're live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for yet another match of the Sevens. This one, it's going to be a big one. Japan taking on New Zealand. New Zealand will be out for blood here. They were knocked out in the final up against Fiji. In this game up against Japan, they'll be looking to try and put as many points on as physically possible, get that points differential right up, and secure themselves a spot in the quarterfinals. But nonetheless, I hope you guys are all enjoying the Sevens that we have had so far. If you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Looking through at the New Zealand starting lineup, it will be Collier, Hoas, Vi, and there Regan Ware, McGarvey Black. He was actually brought in for the injury that we did see of Newstub, unfortunately, last week. And then Brady Rush and Moses Leo are the other two men in the New Zealand starting lineup. Japan kicking off this one, it will be the number 7 for this one, Ryoto Kano, who does get us underway. Moses Leo fires it back across here for New Zealand. They are inside of their 22 at the moment, trying to make their way forward just a little bit more thrust. With a good run for, but he is tackled by, it was a Shedder penalty there to New Zealand. Taken quickly, and it seems like they are going to be trying their best to get as many as they get. And what's the world tour log look like in there? Says Gareth, brilliant run from McGarvey Black. We will come back to that in a very short moment, but in his first game back, he is going to be scoring himself the try, McGarvey Black. And very nicely done. But at the moment, New Zealand are still, or sorry, not New Zealand, South Africa is still sitting at the very top of the bunch. If we are talking the World Sevens standings, and they're quite clear of everyone else. I believe Argentina also doing not too badly. Go the Kiwis, says Tesla, and I'm awake, and All Blacks all day. There's Austin there by McGarvey Black with a good run straight through the gap. He's got plenty of tape on the arms. I wonder whether or not those can actually, like without the tape, hold together his arm. And it looks like on the joints he's got like 50 tons of tape, but he's got the try, McGarvey Black. And like I mentioned, he is in there due to the injury of Andrew Newstub. Also brought back in was Joe Weber as the injury cover for him. But the last thing New Zealand will want is an injury early on in this competition, or this leg. And RP Japan, nice to know you. And there says Gareth, yeah, it's going to be a tough one for Japan. Definitely for their first game to come in and face the Kiwis. And New Zealand have won the Cup twice in Canada, and 2016, 2020. Actually, the last time it was in Vancouver, New Zealand were champions. And they will be looking to defend that turf, I guess, although we haven't seen them in action too often throughout the times that one did not go in 10, or did not go 10, I should say. So now it's a scrum feed for Japan on the halfway line. For me, I think Ryota Kano, is one of the most important players for Japan in this matchup. He's really got to distribute the ball quick because New Zealand's defense, very impressive. Finished second last week on their return to the World Series, or finished second last week is what they have got there. Now, it's a nice scrum. Very nicely done by New Zealand. They steal it back there in the breakdown. And now, because of it, they've got another attacking opportunity. It's going to be by Brady Rush. Driving hard, running faster, going straight sideways. I think the Japanese player is not going to catch him. And he goes over for the try, having to run it straight sideways. But Brady Rush goes over for his first try of Vancouver. And that will be another one for New Zealand. Only 4.5 minutes left in this first half. It could be a relatively one-sided scoreline by the end of it. I'd love to see Japan score one try in this match. But trying to stop him from going over. Unfortunately, it's just going to be a little bit too tough for Fukushi there. Wasn't able to stop Regan Ware. He gave him, Brady Rush, he gave him a big push in the back. Wasn't quite enough, though. Now, struck nicely from McGarvey Black. That one's gone over from almost on the touchline, and now the score will be 14-0 in favour of New Zealand. And also, we've got our man running sideways in this. There's like, yes, sometimes, you know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then normally your teammates will yell at you. Once again, New Zealand not kicking at 10. So that's twice in a row that McGarvey Black has got it wrong. He spat his mouth guard out. Not happy at all with that performance from himself. But currently now Japan sitting on the halfway line with the quick restart. Trying to drive a couple more phases forward. Is now going to be Fukushi, who has hit hard in the ribcage, penalty to Japan. New Zealand trying to hold on to it. Brady Rush was a little bit slow releasing, but now Japan have got themselves another attack in play. They look like they've got 8 men on the field, but it is just because of the overlap that is opening up on the left-hand side for the Japanese. Now it is going to be Nagagawa going down the short side. Not quite able to make his way through there. Now, once again, it will be Fukushi. Passing it back across. Japan trying to back their pace. Beautiful inside ball. And Japan go in for the try between the posts. And it is brilliantly done. It is Yuki Ishii who was able to score it. And now 3 minutes into this game, or 3 minutes left in this first half, Japan score themselves their first try of the match, and they are only 7 points behind the Kiwis now. Okay, so South Africa, Australia, Argentina is the top three added spice for Australia match then. And there says Gareth. So, yeah, hopefully it is going to be a match that delivers. Like, I'd love to see South Africa run away with it a little bit, but I'd also like to see Australia fight hard and really try and make it tough for them. But this one's going over now. Nicely done by Japan, and they are now sitting 14-7 down in this game. But Vancouver tries so far. We have already had 18. This is only the fourth match, which just tells you how many you're going to see throughout a whole sevens tournament. Kicked off short. Taken nicely by Japan, flicking it back onto their side, and they've got the position back now. Now the try scorer, Ishii, going down the wing, keeps that one just in the field of play. Another slip. We've seen quite a few slips throughout the players in the first 4 games, but it was Tomonaga. He did have a nice slip there, and good try, Japan. Yeah, they're doing very nicely. And now the backline movement once again. New Zealand misses the tackle. And now going down the wing, Collier has to drag him down. But this will not be an easy game for New Zealand by the looks of it. Japan really fighting hard. And if they can keep it up, the full intensity for the full 14 minutes, they will be in a very good position. Dilly Collier now with a little bit of a counter rucker came off the back of the foot. Beautiful pass up with a grubber. And now good attack and run from Japan going to the ground. Vai gets in there, and Kitiona Vai does end up winning the penalty for New Zealand. Collier takes the quick tap now, using that experience. Going off to Moses Leo, a young guy who was on debut for this series. Tries to find the flick off. Instead, actually passes it just with the one hand. Collier, nice little flick pass out the back. Rough pass from New Zealand. It sits up nicely. And Kitiona Vai is going to be going over. Kitiona Vai, I should say. Good try, Japan. This is going to be a nice run in there. For Vai, puts the ball down and does end up scoring the third try of the match for New Zealand. So the winner of this match, you'd have to argue they will be sitting top of the bunch, even though Samoa put on such a good, impressive display from Wales. It's just a good fend from Moses Leo, fending off the players with one hand and then holding on to the ball with just the one other. So it doesn't seem like there's any slip in the surface, which is why maybe we're seeing so many players get their footing kind of lodged in the turf. Now, lines it up. Collier gets it over down the middle, and that is going to make the score now 21 points to New Zealand and 7 to Japan. And the Japanese, they will need one try here if they want any chance of being able to fight back in this contest. But as long as they can keep it close, it does mean that New Zealand will be at a slight disadvantage, I believe. Slightly in front of the kicker there for Brady Rush. It's gone straight down the middle. And Japan take it very nicely in the form of Yoshida. Now passing it back across 22 metres out from their own line here. Looks like Japan are going to have one last attack of this half. Nice pop pass up. Going down the wing. Brilliantly done. Vai was actually asking for a penalty there by the looks of it. Straight on the ball for Moses Leo. Penalty to Japan, though. And now they will be taking this one quickly once again here. Going to be Ishida going back across for Japan in the middle of the field here. Trying to get the footwork going on the halfway line. Penalty to New Zealand. And now I think they want to take the quick tap. Yellow card for Japan for throwing the ball away, and he is going to be going off the field for the next 2 minutes of the game, and that is the last thing that Japan needed in that circumstance. But now New Zealand, they will have an attack with only 6 men against them in the ending stages of this one. He chucks the ball up in the air. New Zealand players were just not too happy with that one. I believe it was Haas who wasn't happy with that one. Now straight through Moses Leo. And he is going to score the 4th try of the match now for New Zealand. So a costly yellow for Japan there. Putting the ball down, and it is going to make it a 28 points to 7 game. Other than that one kick, everything else was actually straight out in front of the posts for the conversions of McGarvey Black. And he's actually nailed all 4 of them. He has that, but Collier went across. In fact, it was Brady Rush. Him and Moses Leo are linking up perfectly in the midfield combat. But the next game that we are going to be covering on the channel, ladies and gentlemen, is USA versus Kenya. And that game is starting at 5:30 a.m., followed by Fiji versus England at 5:50 a.m., followed by South Africa versus Spain at 6:10. Poor sportsmanship from Japan. And yes, that is now going to be 28 points to 7 in favour of the Kiwis for going into halftime. But yeah, we've got those 3 other matches that are coming up. Then we've got a break from 6:30 on to 7:50. Then we go Samoa versus Japan, New Zealand, Wales, Fiji, Kenya, South Africa versus Canada. Another break for about an hour or so, and then we're back for the final few games that we are going to be covering on the channel, an extra 5 that are going to be coming up, and they will all be in quite nice time for New Zealand. And then after that, I believe Georgia's coming around, and we are going to be doing some more filming Currently now New Zealand just having the team huddle. They look concentrated. They wouldn't have been happy with that Japanese try. I do see Sam Dixon there, and he is going to be coming off the bench for this match alongside Kurt Baker, Tony Ungshu, and then also Rocky Solia and Leroy Carter. Japan, they will only have the 6 players out there for the second half. Missed tackles. They've missed 4. New Zealand have actually missed 3. The concerning stat there is the fact that Japan have only made the 1 tackle but missed 3 tackles in the process. But currently, it looks like they might be making a couple subs relatively soon. I do see it was Sitaleki Taufa Mikisi who was looking like he was taken off the kit, and he is ready to go. Looks like he's going to be starting the second half here for Japan. We'll have to wait and see exactly how he does end up going. But currently, Japan, they have to try and make up 22 points if they want somehow to get into the lead up against New Zealand. It's going to be tough. It could be near on impossible, but the Japanese, hopefully, they will fight hard. And once they get back to the 7 men, I think they've got a better chance. But McGarvey Black, he'll be loving this game so far. Other than the kickoffs, he has got the kickoffs wrong quite a few times. And this one, will it be any different? McGarvey Black, the whistle does blow. And now McGarvey Black getting ready to go for this one. Kicks it off. That time it does go 10 metres, so there will be quite a cheer for that one, I would think. But taken nicely by New Zealand. Have been able to get that ball back. It's a penalty now. Moses Leo wants to take it quickly, and he does just that. Now, wait, a little bit of side shuffling going on here for the New Zealanders. Regan Ware, wide pass out. Out to, it is Kitiana Vai. Nice pass on the outside. I believe that it's going to be Kurt Baker. Now looking for the pass on the inside. No, never quite able to find it. Well, in fact, that was Trail Huas, and it's a penalty to Japan. And taking it quickly was Kitiana Vai. Unfortunately, though, wasn't his one. And now he's got a yellow card for it. He didn't realise that it wasn't their tap, and he took it quickly. And because of it, it is considered as slowing the ball down. So he took it too quickly, Kitiana Vai. And because of it, he is going to be off the field for the next 2 minutes. And now Yoshida getting very close to being able to make his way back out onto the field for Japan. So they'll actually have the man advantage for a nice little period of the second half. Currently now, line out throw for Japan, sitting about 35 metres out from their line here. It's going to be an important one for Kano to try and get straight down the middle. And he does just that. Good throw from Japan, who replaced Joe Weber and Andrew Newstub. And there it says, dude, I'm perfect. So Andrew Newstub was replaced by McCarvey Black. And I believe Joe Weber is still in the side, but he is currently a bit 50-50. But McCarvey Black has come in as Andrew Newstub's replacement. And then I'm not too sure whether or not they have got a replacement for Weber at this stage. But they definitely got McCarvey Black. He scored the first try of this match. He's been kicking very well with the drop kicks as well. Currently, Japan, they are sitting there 5 minutes, 20 left of the second half. And Toshida does kick it towards the touchline. New Zealand actually having 4 of the last 7 penalties against them for this game. And Japan, it's going to be a tricky one for them because it's always going to be an uphill battle. Is Newstub injuries or is Newstub injured? He is indeed. Sadly, has got, I believe it was a knee injury from last time. So he is going to be out for this one and possibly a couple of the future Sevens ones, depending on how quickly he can end up having that one recover. Now throwing it in once again, it is going to be Kano, goes to the back. Taken very nicely by Yoshida, the man who's just come back from his yellow card. Certainly won't want another one there. And now nice backline movement for Kano. Now Japan with a good attack and play right near the touchline. Just manages to stay in the field. Now running a hard, beautiful offload for Japan. Now good run forward. Only 10 metres out for the line. I believe it would have been the replacement there. So Jima, now nice pass out the back line, and it's the try for the youngster, Marquesi. I just mentioned a little bit ago that he was going to be starting for the second half, and he has been able to get the try there for Setaleki Taufa Marquesi. Very nicely done by Kano with a great pass, and that was what helped set up the play. Then a nice bit of drawing pass from, it was actually Ishida. Nicely done by Japan, and they get themselves a try back in this game. So they're really cutting down on that New Zealand points differential currently for Japan. Oh, what a kick that is. That has come around beautifully for the drop kick, and now it makes the score 28 to New Zealand and 14 for Japan. But currently 4 minutes left. It seems like Kitiana Vai will be able to make his way back out onto the field, although it looks like they're making a couple other changes. What a try, Japan. And yeah, brilliant try, brilliant kick as well. That one was phenomenal, the way that he kind of brought it around like it was a banana kick. Now, just not quite going. The 10 is the comment from the referee. So now it is going to be from halfway. The scrum feed for New Zealand. They won't mind this too much because Japan have been starting to take a little bit of momentum. Yes, it was always going to be a huge uphill battle, but restart era is 2 for New Zealand, 1 for Japan here. Kurt Baker going to be taking the quick tap, a very experienced head in the New Zealand lineup now, running it hard, gives it off into the hands of Rokoi Lisai. He's going down wide. Now out to Vai. Does try and go straight through. Saljima does just that. Ball on the inside, gives it to Saljima. So he thought he was his teammate for half a second there. Now another good run here for Japan. They've got some space on the outside. It is their try scorer. Flick on the inside. Some silky skills here from Japan. And he is dragged down. Now firing it back across. It is Morita. Does receive that one now out into the hands of the winger. And Makiti once again, still just, or Makisi, I should say, Sam Dixon steals the ball. And now it's going to be one-on-one. The Japanese player, he tried his best to make the tackle. It was always going to be an uphill battle, though, because Sam Dixon is a big boy. And he has been able to go and score himself his first try of the Vancouver Sevens. Only 2.5 minutes left. Every time Japan fight back, New Zealand seem to find a way of scoring that next try to just kill that momentum. Sam Dixon with a good tackle made. Then from there, it was going to be a tough one for Yamada to be able to try and make. Sound like it was an insult. It was not the case. Yamada is the last name there. Nicely done by Sam Dixon to score the try. McCarvey Black, that one does end up going wide, so it makes the score 33 points to New Zealand and 14 for Japan there. But only the one face literally stole it from the breakdown. And I see he just ripped the ball out of a 3-on-1. What a lad. And mad lad says Tesla. Yeah, very impressive from Sam Dixon. As long as he doesn't get penalised too often throughout this one, I think he will be dangerous because he did get a couple of yellow cards in Singapore. I don't know whether or not that was the heat and also the slipperiness that did equate to that. But currently there's a huge amount of grip out there. Oh, speaking of too much grip there, his foot actually slipped, but for the wrong reasons. It slipped because it was too stuck in the turf. But now ball bouncing back on the side of New Zealand, except it's a penalty to Japan. Currently now 1.5 minutes left in this fixture. Sam Dixon, I think all the Kiwis have actually got all the strapping on the forearms. 3 last penalties going against New Zealand in this game. We've actually had 8 throughout this match. So Jima now trying to go down the wing. Kitiona Vai has been able to make a great tackle there. Bounces out the side now. Tony Unshu going across to Baker. Looking for the cross kick. It's going up. Not taken cleanly by Leroy Carter. And now it sits up for Japan. So a little bit of over-enthusiasm there from the Kiwis almost leads to a try at the other end. But Japan have got this one 45 metres out now on the halfway line. And it's a counter-attacking opportunity. So Jima, beautiful offload. Great hands from Maliki as well. Knock on, though, unfortunately, from his teammate. And that was, in fact, Saljima. I tell you what, Saljima and Makisi have been so involved in the second half for Japan. It was certainly a super sub to make, bringing Makisi out there. Brilliant offload from Saljima. Good hands in the end, but then he was just ankle tapped right at the last moment. A very nice step by Saljima, who is certainly one of the key players for Japan when it comes to that offload game. Now, there's going to be New Zealand with only 13 seconds left on the clock. I feel like, too much movement. And that is going to be the reset. So New Zealand might be strategic to kick this ball out just to not allow Japan any more points. But then saying that, New Zealand will feel that they're confident enough to be able to get themselves one more try at the end of this game and really run away with it, get up to 40 points. But remembering, this is a side of Japan who lost 62-0 to Fiji last week in Singapore. They look like they've come a long way in just that short time. It's out the back. Baker now getting off to Leroy Carter. Wide slinging pass into the hands of Rocky Lesoi. He's going through. That's going to be the try for New Zealand, and that should be able to bring up their 40 at the end of this game. It's a good run forward. Rocky Lesoi scores it between the sticks, and that will be a good try to close out the match for New Zealand. And that will be actually their 7th try now of the match. That might be a lie. It might be their 6th. In fact, yes, it is their 6th try of the game. But Roko Lesoi going straight through the next game that we are going to be covering on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. USA versus Kenya. That is going to be starting in only a very short moment, only about 5 minutes' time. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. That one's gone straight over, and that will now be their final score, 40 points to 14 in favour of New Zealand. They're actually ranked lower than Japan in the series, currently sitting in 15th compared to Japan in 14th. But New Zealand, they were pushed in this game at times from Japan. I'm looking forward to seeing what we get to see from the Japanese in the future. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. We will be ticking over straight to our next live stream. It will help you in terms of just redirecting you over to that next one. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the